good morning or afternoon, whatever it is where you're at. Today I'm going to show you a couple of really quick and easy ways, or one way to make a really fun Valentine's cards. You can do this with kids. It's really simple, or you can do it for, make it into a nicer project. What you're going to need is a piece of paper, and for this one I usually use Arches Arches 100% cotton paper. I do use hot press sometimes. So that's what this is 100% cotton. But for this project, especially if you're working with kids, I would not go buy, this is more expensive paper. You can use like this kind of paper. This is not a cotton paper, it's a pulp paper, like regular paper, but I have a piece here taped down, but it really doesn't matter because it's going to be, like Valentines oftentimes end up in the garbage anyway, so you don't want to do something super expensive. If you know it's for kids and they're going to throw it away. If it's for adults, you might want to do something a little bit nicer if they might frame it or something. But you're going to tape it down to your board. So I've got this one taped down. And if you're wondering, this is a piece of like a backing off of one of these. It's just the back that I've run packing tape over so that it doesn't absorb water. If you want to see a tutorial on some of that or stretching watercolor paper, you can look at one of my other videos. It's called Stretching Watercolor Paper. And if you like these videos, please subscribe and like them. I'm going to just show you really quick. So that one's done being taped down, and I'm just going to tape this one down. It's just regular masking tape. And on these you're going to get, like this one here, I'm not going to get a 4x4. I was thinking 4x4 originally, and this one I'll probably get 4x4 out of, like 6 of them. So you're going to paint one big piece and then you're going to cut it, and it's going to be a whole bunch. So again, like for little kids, they get to paint 2 or 3 pieces of paper and then they cut them up and make them look cool, and it's a quick project. But this other piece is probably going to be more like 2 5x7s or 3, something. Anyway, I'm not going to get quite as many pieces of paper or finished cards out of this one. And the other thing you can do is you can buy watercolor cards with cardstock that are made for being cards, and you can paint those too. Those are fun. But this is a little bit quicker and a little bit less expensive as far as for kids. So, paper's taped down. The other things you're going to need is 2 colors that complement, like, I'm going to use primary colors, kind of. I'm going to use a red, or not a red, the red side of things, permanent rose. So I have some of that, and then I'm going to use Winsor blue, and this goes more towards the red shade of blue instead of the warmer, or the cooler side of things. This is a little bit warmer. They complement each other well. I'm going to use these 2 because I like the, I want to get a red and a blue and a purple. So the pink, or I guess I should say pink. The pink and purple is kind of Valentine's-y, and then the blue just kind of adds a little variety. So you want colors that will mix well. So, like you could do red and yellow or pink and yellow to get pink and yellow orange. And you could use a blue and a green even, and then you just get like a blue, a green, and kind of a teal color if you like those colors too. Just pick some that will mix well and not turn to mud while you're painting. The other thing you're going to need is a fairly large brush, because we're going to cover this whole surface with water. And then you're going to need water, clean water, and then one to rinse your brush in, and then again something to put your paints in. And if you're doing this with kids, you can even do this with a really inexpensive little trays of watercolors. It doesn't matter. This doesn't have to be super expensive. If you have that at home, use that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to wet the paper all over. Let me get these colors spritzed and activated. Wet the color all over, or the paper all over, and then we're going to just drop in color. Okay, stop really quick. Salt. Get some salt too. So this project is not about being perfect and being in lines and being anything. This one, it doesn't matter if there's blooms, it doesn't matter if there's, if the colors mix, whatever. So it's kind of fun just to get going and put some color down. So the first thing we're going to do, is wet my paper all the way, all over, and you don't want it to be like, especially if you're using this other student grade, I'll show you in a minute the difference. It's going to buckle a lot more. This is going to buckle too because it's not been stretched, but it doesn't hold the water quite the same as the cotton paper, but that's okay for this project. Even if it buckles, we don't care. Because if you watch my paper stretch one, you'll know that I hate buckling. And once you get it covered, just look at it, make sure it's all shiny. And what we're going to do is kind of almost a marbled effect. There we go. Now I'm going to take my colors. I'm going to take whatever color I want and just paint it in there. Wherever I want. It doesn't matter how much paint you have on the brush or how much color, how much water. A lot of things are color sensitive, but this is not. And mix, make sure you get all those, the two colors to mix. I want purple, I want pink, I want blue. I don't want any white though, so make sure you get those colors to blend and get them all over the paper. I'm getting purple in my pink, but that's okay. And it doesn't matter how wet, like I said, it's going to buckle a little bit, it's fine. Just make sure you're from edge to edge, that you don't miss any of the edges, that there's no white anywhere. I want some more like pink. You can drop colors in. Get little spots. The other thing you can do is take a bunch and flick it on. That's kind of messy, but kids find that fun. Same thing with the blue. Flick it on there. Drop some drops in. And then if you want to use some salt, I wouldn't recommend doing it everywhere, but you can do it everywhere. Just here and there, sprinkle a little bit of salt on. A little in the middle there. Looks like my edge is drying fast enough that it's not going to stay there. And now I'm just going to set that aside. Not even worry about how it's drying, how it looks. We're just going to set it aside. Make sure you don't set it on something that's going to leak on, because it's all over the place. And we're going to do this other piece of paper really quick. Okay, this is a little bit bigger, so we'll have to work faster. And it's a little bit, I don't use this paper very often, so it's been a while. So hopefully we can get it wet and keep it wet long enough that we can get the color down. I almost want to do a different color to this one too. We'll see. Like I said, just make sure the whole thing is wet. I know my kids, Valentine's is my favorite holiday, and my kids liked making their own, or I liked them making their own. Maybe they hated it, but I enjoyed it. So, that's what I am going to get out, like a lemon yellow, just for something different. I have blue paint spattered all over my wall. That's alright though. Kind of fun. Okay, so we're going to start with the red. Make sure we're Still wet everywhere. Okay. And just get that everywhere again. You want enough water to just keep it flowing. And this won't spread as well, if that makes sense. It's not going to, as compared to the arches. Okay, now I'm going to add my yellow. Ooh, need some water in that. Make some orange. Mix it in. Have some areas that aren't mixed. They're, you know, pure color. And then like we did with the other one, I'm going to take dots of color. Ooh, that made hearts. That was actually cool. You could do that. And you have to have it kind of wet to get it to flick off your brush, but some flicking. That corner is drying. Same thing with the pink. Let's put some dots in some of these yellows that are going to stay, so they'll stay, you know, pink. They won't mix. Get some dots all over. And that's it. So we're going to let both these pieces of paper dry, and then we'll come back. Oh wait, sorry, I forgot. Just before we go and let this all dry, I'm just going to put some salt on this one as well. Just a little bit here and there. And it kind of creates some fun patterns. And if you have coarser salt, it creates different patterns than this is just fine table salt. So that's kind of fun to add different textures of salt as well. Anyway, okay, now we're done. We're going to let it dry. Alright, so I went and dried these. I blow dried them. If you want to do that, you can do that. I really love how this, you could actually, if I had done this in like blues and greens, I could have made that like reflections in water or ice. And anyway, it was kind of a cool effect. This one is harder to see because it's lighter colors, but I like it too. One thing you do is wipe all the salt off with picture. And then let's take off our tape. I can get it off my fingers here. And we're not going to keep this border. It's just simply taped down just so that it could be taped down, so that there's something holding it there. If it was a finished painting, it'd be like, ooh, the big reveal, you know, it's kind of cool to watch. But so there's the one. Let's look at the other one. And kind of be careful, like this paper, I mean, this has only been taped down just like 20 minutes and it's already adhering so well that it's peeling the paper off. So again, that's another reason why you want to use cotton watercolor paper for like nicer projects. Okay, I forgot to turn my cell phone down, but that's okay. My kids need to get a hold of me. Anyway, so I forgot to install my phone. So there's our finished product so far. So we're going to cut, I'm going to go cut this on my paper cutter. So from here you've got to decide what you're looking for. So this one I'm going to cut into probably 4x4 squares because I think I can get 6 of them out of this. This one I can't, so I'm thinking either 3 longer strips. I could do even 5. I could make like a bookmark out of it or something. But I'm going to go cut them and then I'll come back and show you how to make it kind of Valentine's Day-ish. So, okay, so you have all your little cards done and cut. So these are about a 4x4, it's just under 4x4, and then this is like a 3.5 by excuse me, 3.5 by like 4 3/4 or something like that. It was whatever it equated to. So for this last step, you're going to want, it depends on what you want to do. So a larger Sharpie, smaller tip Sharpies, depending on what you want to do. The colors are fun. Cookie cutters are really fun for this. I'm going to show you what to do with the cookie cutters. And then you're going to just decide what exactly you want to do. So the cookie cutter thing is one of my favorites. Let me just show you. You're going to take some paint, acrylic paint. I used white. You can use whatever color. And you're going to want like the cheap stuff because you want it to be thin. I didn't have any of the cheap stuff, so I had to put a lot of water in some white, thick white paint. And what you're going to do is take a cookie cutter, whatever cookie cutter you want. Something, make sure it fits on your paper. So I'm going to do this one and get it covered in paint. And then this one, I'm going to go right down in the middle and make sure that it touches all the way around. Some cookie cutters don't. It gives a really nice little print. And then I have this little cookie cutter that I can do. I'm going to do one above. Whoops, I had paint on my fingers, one below. So something fun like that. And this is the simplest, easiest thing for little kids because it does not matter. What did I do with my other ones? What they do, like one big one in the middle, a whole bunch of little ones all the way around the side. It literally does not matter which, they can just stamp away with that. Or if you have stamps, this would be a great time to use the stamps. So there's one option. Another thing I enjoyed, we'll see if I can get really dirty here. Take like, and you can take any color. I'm going to just do black really quick. Take a cookie cutter or a paper cutout of a heart, or if you want to freehand it, however you want to do it, center it on your paper. And I just messed that up, but that's okay. I'm going to have to get paint on my fingers. Ooh, I got it all over my Sharpie too. Okay. That's a little messy. Anyway, take your Sharpie or a fat one or a skinny one, whichever one you want, and then you can do something with this. You can leave it like that. You can trace it. Let me just show you a couple. So this one was done with a fat Sharpie. It looks kind of like a stained glass window. You can take this thinner one and you can do like some Zentangle or some line drawings or whatever. You can leave it like this, just write a little note in it. Those are all fun options to do. And then what you're going to do with, oh, here's another one. So I traced a little tiny cookie cutter and then just did like the conversation heart little things. So the last thing you want to do, so if you have little kids and they're going to give them to friends, what you can do is just like do the to, from on the back. Maybe a little note like Happy Valentine's Day, but you're done. That's all there is to it. If you want to make it a little nicer, if it's going to a teacher or something, you can take, like this is cut 1 inch bigger. So you can take and tape that down, and you can then write above it or below it or on the back side, whatever you want to do. And then they can just have that card, or you can also write on the back. Or if you do the smaller one, you could just have your Zentangle there. It looks kind of mounted. Just take some tape, or if it's with your kids, glue dots. I love those things with little kids. It's not messy, but it holds really good. Elmer's glue works okay, but it'll come off. It's messy, I guess. Not that this project wasn't messy, but glue sticks, they work great, but glue sticks don't hold for a long time. They'll oftentimes pop off. Anyway, so tape it down, or if you have like the mounting, foam mounting things for pictures, those would be cool. Stick that on there, and you have a finished little card. You can hook, put candy on the back or whatever if you want to. The other option, if you're giving it to a teacher or something and you want to write a little note inside, would be to put it on a card, an actual card front. and then they can write a little note, or you can write a little note if it's for somebody you know, that's an adult, you know, or a kid, I don't know, kids might like it. And the other nice thing about this is if you tape it on, it can be taken off and put in a little frame or something, so it can be kept for a while. If somebody really likes it, instead of throwing away, which, you know, with little kids, that's probably what's going to happen with it. But so mount it on the card, make sure you're on the front, and then they have their little note. They have a cute little Valentine. There's space in there to write a little note to the teacher or whoever. Anyway, that's kind of a fun option for Valentine's, and it's really quick, really fast, easy for any age, and your finished product is really cute, and it's keepable if people want to keep it, you know, or it didn't cost a lot, especially if you use a really cheap paper, so even if they throw it away, it's not a big deal. But I love Valentine's Day because it's an opportunity to tell people, just anybody, that you're thinking of them, or that you like them, or that you love them in a really inexpensive way. It's not like Christmas where you gotta buy big presents and stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you go out and do some Valentine cards, and I would love to see your finished product if you do this tutorial. And again, if you like this video, subscribe, and we'll maybe do some more Valentine cards next week.